combinations, and Mellors knew that this was a lot more important than that little run down the pro. And look at the big twitch on there for Dugan. Dugan actually having problems on this stage, only able to record 4 minutes 22. And Mellors' time 4 minutes, remember. Hill did 4:05 for fourth fastest. Roger Duckworth. The Deja Vu Sierra started life on the Hong Kong Beijing rally. Duckworth, and it does sound glorious. Oh, he's going to go off! Oh, somehow he caught it. It dips a little bit onto the approach there. Let's see how Bennett Evans handles it. Time for Price, incidentally, 4:04, third fastest. Bennett Evans, wrong exit, so he was out of the rally. And a big twitch from Jeremy Eaton, a little quicker on that stage. This is Steve Hendy. Hendy going very well. 4:05 takes him to third overall thus far. This is Mark Perrott. Warren Perrott's in trouble, and Perrott is off and over.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Get back in.
Just get in and drive it, we'll get you out.
Just slow them down.
They've been off here before.
All right, don't worry.
Well, encouragement for the marshals there, or maybe just spectators.
Right,
And, well, I wonder if Mark Perrott and Jerry Mansell can get out of that spot. Simon Major going through in his Astra. Well, he's got four-wheel drive. Lots of willing hands there. He's going to take a run at it. Well, that shows you four-wheel drive. And the diff's certainly working. Look, the rear wheel's spinning. Oh, now both front and rear are spinning. And they're going to get out of there. The rear window's gone, but otherwise not a mark on the car. Now, this is an old friend that we saw on the Arctic Rally. Tony Jardine, his Group N Escort there. As we move now into the forest, this is special stage 6, Eblake. And Mellors is the man who is now stamping his authority on the rally. It had been Tony Davis who led after the 3 tarmac stages. But now as they get into the very sandy, loose, and not to mention mud of Eblake in the Ringwood Forest Complex, Chris Mellors. Harry Vatanen was the first man to drive this car in China. He put it into a tree. Roger Duckworth will be hoping not to do that today. Very fast into the left-hander. Duckworth, of course, the son of Keith Duckworth, and Roger works at Cosworth as a development engineer. Indeed, has worked on the V6 engine development. There you see that rather unsightly power bulge. The engine's been rebuilt over the winter. It blew up in a big way towards the end of last season. Roger may be a rich man's son, but he rallies. And here is Dugan running very late indeed on the road. Dugan already with problems reported with the steering and the rear brakes. But he's running in 5th place, so going well in a car that he's totally unfamiliar with.
Well, these are the joys of rallying. You get covered in mud if you stand in the wrong place. But as you can see, there's been a lot of action out here. Jeff Smith has hit the tree and very much deranged the front suspension of the Priority Air Freight Escort, so it was worth coming here just to get the story.
In Group N had been Jeff, at the good waves. Meanwhile, there was a sizable crowd to watch the lunchtime display as Chris Mellors tackled this 1.5 mile section for a second time under the main road. It was very bumpy through that section. The prom, his time 1:25. Here's Duckworth having an excellent run. C-registered Sierra there. Well, here's a lady with another idea of sport out in the forest for a quiet ride and disturbed by the course car coming through. And see how much standing water there is. This special stage 15, the longest stage of the rally, and this would be a crucial one. Mellors had to make here before, in fact. Duckworth again, just look at the steam coming off those front discs. Well, that car sounds absolutely glorious. If it goes into the trees, and this is Jeremy Eason still fighting a desperate battle for the Group N honours with Steve Petch just seconds separating them. Expected them to go on quite so long. Steve Hendy. That's another car that sounds a bit rough. I think maybe Hendy's got a puncture there, that could be the problem. But no problems at all for Tony Jardine. I caught up with my sometime fellow commentator. It's final conclusion back on the MOD land. And here is Chris Mellors going into that last stage with a 17-second advantage on arch rival Steve Hill. Mellors with Brian Goff alongside him, Brian who runs the Chester Exhaust Centre, and Chris Mellors who builds rally cars and prepares them for a living. He was also looking after Neil Dugan's car on this event, as well as Peter Vasalo's new Subaru. And flames coming out of the back as he enters the figure of 8 section. This used by the Army to test various vehicles. And it makes a very interesting stage indeed. Now turning left. And most of it's on the tarmac, but odd little sections are on the loose through this tricky chicane, and then 90 left. And Mellors there, having a very good run indeed, so leave. Steve Hill's time was in fact 4:08, so victory was conceded to Chris Mellors, but this man was still fighting for third place. Roger Duckworth into the hairpin and slides out wide, knocks over the cones, has to back up, and that little mistake cost Roger Duckworth third place to Tony Davis. But nevertheless, the car had gone extremely well, putting the power down, the car snaking as it goes off onto the figure of 8 loop. And it's a very different beast to the little Daihatsu Charade, which Roger Duckworth drove so well, 4 years back. Constant radius corner there, and Roger Duckworth heads off from the stage towards Bournemouth for a well-deserved 4th place. And I suspect his engine is blown, John Price out of the rally. Meanwhile, the Group N battle goes to the wire. The Jeremy Eason, Colin Eason Motors supported Escort, and chasing after him, Tony Jardine. Jardine having his best ever run on the national rally, trying to wrest 11th place off Simon Redhead, the two running very close together indeed. And co-driving that car, the Daily Telegraph's top sports writer, Mike Calvin, of course, did the RAC with Tony a couple of years ago. And there you see all that full figure 8. And now in the distance, we stay with Tony. And he's catching the David Wood Saab, and he's going to go past him, no question doubt about that. Goes flying past David Wood, he's all locked up, and oh Tony, what have you done? All straight into the chicane. And David Wood's going to repass him. Well, the ignominy there for Mr. Jardine.